Hey guys, can you hear me now? Oh my gosh, I was talking to myself for a while, for so long. Can you guys hear me now? Please tell me you can hear me now. Oh gosh. I was saying good morning to everyone from like the top of the list. Yes, it's Bob today. Hey Moemer. Hey Mark. Hey Diana, Bryce, Mark, again, Diane, Desiree, the other Bob, Calvin, Ellen, Donald. There's so many of you. There's more than 100 of you today. Robin, Robert. Okay, okay. There's just so much going on. I was saying good morning for the longest time, and nobody could hear me. Yes, it does save me time. It does save me time. Good morning, all. I like to mention your names because I really these are my regulars. Well, not really my regulars, it's Desmond's regulars. I'm just taking over until he comes back from maternity. Seems like Des is enjoying fatherhood. Yes, I'm not sure if he's enjoying fatherhood. That guy's a workaholic, so he might not be enjoying being away from the office that much. Yes, we have become your regulars. I look forward to see you guys more often. Hey, Adam from UK. Okay, we've got new people today. I love how you guys are calling me Bob. If you guys are calling me Bob, it just means that it's proof that you guys are the regulars because you know my nickname is Bob. For those who are new here, my name is Bob only because will we see Des next week? Oh yeah, he'll probably be back next week because he was only taking 2 weeks off, and then you guys will see him on Wednesday. So, how's life, everyone? Did you guys take that trade on AUD? Was it AUD cat? AUD cat and gold last week. Last Wednesday, we called for AUD cat and gold. We did that together. I will never take credit for this. I will always say we did this together because a lot of times I don't see something and you guys are like, isn't that a head and shoulder? So yeah, we did good on that. It was buy for both of that. I hope you guys made some because I made some. I made quite a bit actually. So I hope you guys got into those trades as well. I think some of you did because some of you PM me to tell me good call on the goal, good call on AUD, whatever it was. I can't remember. It was last week. Let's try to, yeah, let's look for some probable trades today. Yes, but the problem is, it's not really a problem though. Our topic today is Bollinger Bands and the Donchian channels. So for the purpose of our topic, we will be looking for trades based on these two indicators, okay? We will be using these two indicators to look for trades today. I've backtested it a bit. I do think they are effective. It's not something I use all the time, but I do think they are effective from backtesting. If you are someone who uses the Bollinger Band or the Donchian channel, you would know that it works really well for catching trend, which we'll be going through. I'm going to start a webinar. Hey, Simon. I'm going to start the webinar by saying that we're going to go through the slides of the theoretical part. It's just the basics. It's kind of textbook, what Bollinger Bands and what Donchian channel means. But every time we're doing this topical indicators webinar, I think more importantly is being able to apply, right? I mean, like, if we're talking about textbook, a lot of things, like the thing that I like to use the most is Ichimoku. Ichimoku says a totally different thing of how I apply it and how I use it, but it doesn't matter. What matters is what is most effective, okay? What makes us the most money? I'm sorry, profits. What makes us the most profit, okay? What helps us grow our account? Okay, so I'll just go through the basic, the theoretical stuff, the principles of Bollinger Band and Donchian channel. And then later when we move on to live charts, I'll go through what I backtested and how what I saw worked really well, especially with the Bollinger Band. Okay, I realized it's a little bit with like the Ichimoku is really good at catching trend. Okay, we've got new people here today. A few new people. I'm new here. Okay. All right. Welcome to our webinar. Okay, let's start. Old. You're not old, you're just a regular. Okay, let's start our webinar. Before I start, again, You guys know the drill, especially for the newcomers. Anything shared in this webinar should not be construed as trading advice. IC Markets does not guarantee the accuracy of this information sharing here. I share here. I'm just a guest speaker, okay? So if anything, I'm just sharing my experience and how I grow my account and how the indicators that I use to grow my account and how I use Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel to find profitable trades. Okay, so IC Market cannot guarantee the accuracy of this, but don't worry guys, I will only give you information as accurate that I find accurate. Okay, I've already backtested this. Okay, I already put so much time researching this, so you guys are in good hands. On top of that, if you guys are new to trading, okay, these webinars are after all for trading. Hey, I'm from UK. Hey, Simon from Singapore. You guys didn't know that. Okay. So if you guys are new to trading, please do not over leverage. Please use proper risk management. Do not trade unless you already know what you're doing, because a lot of people get burned, and a lot of money are also burned in the markets. A lot of people are like losing their house and blah 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 whatnot, losing their life savings in trading. So please only trade once you have mastered the basic, and once you have found a strategy that works. Can you use MT4 and MT5? Hey. Oh, George, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Okay, okay, this more and more people joining. Wow, this is a crowd, man. This is a crowd. I'm just gonna go slow with the introduction. So by the time I'm done with the introduction, you guys would have all joined and settled in. Okay, because I still see the attendance list like moving like crazy. Okay, there's more of you. Hey, Fabio. Okay, what are we going to go through? Bollinger Bands, different types. Oh, sorry. This is not the correct slides. Why does this keep happening? Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to do Bollinger Bands and Donchian channels. Ignore this part. I saw I changed it. We're going to do Bollinger Bands, and then we're going to go through the Donchian channel, and then we're going to go to the live charts. Okay, we're going to go straight to the live charts. Ben from Nigeria. Hey Ben, welcome. So introducing your host for those who are new here and don't already know me. My name is Cassandra. You can call me Cass, or you can call me Bob. The reason why my name is Bob is because there's two Cassandras in our company, and to avoid confusion, I have decided to name myself Bob. Thank you, Mark. I will take that. I will take that. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm an investment analyst / prop trader here in Everest Fortune Group. Everest Fortune Group is a fintech company in Singapore. We do a lot of research, and we do a lot of these webinars for brokers, banks, hedge funds. We basically forecast where we think the markets are going. Okay, so a lot of the things that we do involves a lot of research and a lot of time spent to back test whether certain things work or not. So whenever we're doing these webinars for you guys, we're only sharing things that we have already back tested and is proven to be working for the current markets. Okay, in terms of trading, you didn't upload the webinar last week. The webinar, oh, you're supposed to ask. I think IC Market was usually IC Market does that for me. I can check with IC, and then maybe the next webinar I'll just update you. Maybe just ask again. Is it Cass or Cassie? It's Cass. Yes, Cass. Cassie is fine. I mean, whatever. Just call me Bob. Whatever's convenient. I will acknowledge anything you call me. Okay. So I'm a profitable trader. I think this is important because, like I say in all my webinars, recently I've been saying this because this is new information to me as well. I found out that there's actually only 4% of profitable traders in the world. 96% of retail traders are not profitable. This is not to discourage you guys. Rather, this is to encourage you guys to put in more time and effort to learning this, because it is a very good and important skill to learn. I promise you, this is a skill that will make you a very happy person. Okay, because it'll grow your account, and then you'll just be happier. Okay. So in terms of trading, I'm managing more than 300,000 in my own trading account, and I'm managing more in a lot of prop trading accounts. So there's probably like more than 1 million now. I'm managing that, and I'm trading all of that. And in terms of my record, I've passed FTMO and my Forex fund like 4 times already. So for those who don't know this, these are prop trading tests that requires you to be profitable. You need to be 10% in profit, okay, 10% in profit within the month without being 5% in drawdown. Okay, so I've done it consistently month after month after month, like, and I passed this test like 4 times. I think my point is that whatever I'm sharing you guys is important stuff that has helped me grow my account. And that being said, I don't preach that my way or my technique of getting profitable trades is the only way. There's 4% of profitable traders in the world. I'm sure all 4% are using different techniques. Whatever I'm sharing with you guys is just technique that I have found to be effective. Okay, so my specialty is in combining Fibonacci confluence, which a lot of you know. There's so many regulars here. You guys probably know Fibonacci confluence more than me now. Okay, and using supply and demand, which is basically support and resistance, combining that with Fib levels and combining that with, what about double Bollinger Band? Is it word familiar settings? Give me a sec, Peter. And also using trend. So I use a lot of trend to get in on my trades. That means if I identify a downtrend, my bias immediately is to look for a sell. If I see an uptrend, my bias immediately is to look for a buy. That's totally different from Des's technique, but it doesn't mean there's no better or worse. Okay, it's just different ways to be profitable in the market. So Des uses a Nike tick. Those who follow Des a lot, he uses the Nike tick. Nike tick goes against trend. Okay, so if it's a downtrend, the Nike tick is usually buying against trend, and if it's an uptrend, you're usually selling against trend, which I don't feel comfortable doing that. That's why I don't do that. I use my own style and it works as well. So let's go, guys. How long did it take you to be a profitable trader? Sarah, it took me like 2 years to be profitable. The first 2 years, I was just trading rubbish, man. I was just getting into trades that doesn't make sense. I was just guessing. A lot of times I'm just like, this feels like a sell. I'm getting in for a sell. And then I end up hitting my stop loss. So if you guys are not profitable at this current point of time, don't be discouraged. You just need to put in more time and effort into this, okay? What's the difference? Hey, Jasper. What's the difference between Bollinger Band and Donchian channel? We're gonna get to that to the end of the slides. It's just different indicators, but we'll get to the end of the slides and then it'll explain itself. Okay. Hey. Okay, so what is a Bollinger Band? A Bollinger Band is a technical analysis tool defined by a set of trend lines plotted 2 standard deviations positively and negatively away from simple moving average of a security price, but which can be adjusted to the user preference. So Bollinger Band was developed by this guy called John Bollinger, he named it after himself, designed to discover opportunities that give investors a higher probability of properly identifying when an asset is oversold or overbought. Are you guys having problems looking at my slides? Thank you, Sei. Okay, so slides aren't moving. No slides. Really? How about now? Did it move now? Okay. Oh my gosh. These webinars are horrible without Des because I have so many technical problems. Just give me a bit more time, guys. I've only been away like without Des for 2 weeks. That's why last week was bad. This week, my slides aren't moving. Okay, next week Des will be back, so we'll probably not have technical issues next week anymore. Okay, so this is what the Bollinger Band looks like. It's actually a really common indicator. I'm sure some of you have already heard it. So this is the upper band, okay, and this is the lower band, and we've got the middle band. So let's say you put your settings at 20. Usually we just leave the settings at default. When I was back testing, I realized 20 works perfectly fine. Okay, so 20 means that this is the information for the last 20 days. Okay, this was the high for the last 20 days. Okay, you can see like this was like the high areas for that 20 days, and this is a low for that 20 days. And then we've got the middle band, which is basically the moving average. With, I'm sure most of you already know, moving average is like the most basic thing. So sorry. So there's like few ways people use the Bollinger Band. One is the overbought and oversold strategy. So a common approach when using Bollinger Band is to identify overbought and oversold. I'm gonna have to get rid of this drawing so that I can show you guys what the overbought looks like. Okay, so this is the overbought. Can you guys see that this part right here where price kind of came out of that band? Okay, so usually with the bands, you know what, I'm just gonna explain it in my way. Okay, I was gonna use the theoretical way to explain it to you, but some of you might not understand what I'm saying. Okay, so overbought is when it kind of goes out of this band, and oversold is when it goes out of the band on the lower part. Okay, one the higher part and lower part. So for those who don't really understand this indicator, I would say newer traders, they would see that, oh, okay, price has gone overbought, it has went outside of the band, and they would enter here for a sell. So in this example, they wouldn't be wrong, right? They wouldn't be wrong. This is actually a good entry for a sell, right? But in this case, where price went out to that oversold area, if you were to enter here for a buy, you're gonna eventually get stopped out unless you're only playing these 2 candlesticks. Okay, so when people are using Bollinger Band, I think this is the one way they use, but I don't find this way very effective. Okay, although when I was doing my research to prepare all this information for you guys, a lot of like websites, a lot of like books were saying to use the overbought and oversold, but when I was back testing, it just wasn't telling with what people were saying. If you're using that overbought and oversold strategy, you would have gotten in here for a buy as well, and you can see that this thing was moving sideways and it continued moving down. Okay, so I don't think the strategy is effective, but just to let you guys know that this is one strategy that people are using out there. I don't know why. I mean, in this case, yes, it worked perfectly, right? It worked perfectly. But when I was back testing, I realized it didn't work a lot of times. So when it does work, it works great, but more times than not, it doesn't work. Okay, so that's just one thing to take note of. Why I'm highlighting this is to tell you guys not to use this strategy, okay? Or if you do still want to use this strategy, please combine it with other strategies, because clearly the strategy does not work the best, okay? When I'm going through these slides, I'm just going to go quickly so that we can move on to the live charts. I tried the Bollinger Band, unfortunately it wasn't great for me. Yes, when I was back testing, if you were to use the strategy, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work, okay? So this is the calculation for Bollinger Band. This is the boring stuff, like even without referencing, I wouldn't be able to explain this. Okay, so Bollinger Band is comprised of 3 lines. One of the common calculations uses the 20-day simple moving average for the middle band. The upper band is calculated by taking the middle band and adding twice the daily standard deviation to that amount. And the lower band is calculated by taking the middle band minus 2 times the daily standard deviation. Okay, guys, again, this is a theoretical part. More importantly, we need to know how to apply to the charts. This is good to know, but would I say this is going to grow our account? Not really, okay, but it's just good to know. Again, I'm just going through the theoretical part. I'm going back to the slides before just to highlight to you guys. This is what they say, the standard deviation. Okay, I'm going to erase all of this. Okay, this is what they call standard deviation. 2 standard deviation. They always say that this empty space here is 2 standard deviation from the moving average. Okay, to put that in simple terms is that the more standard deviation it is, right, the harder it is, sorry, my pen, can you guys still see my pen moving? I don't know why it's not moving. Okay, basically this gap is 2 standard deviations, okay, and the higher the gap is, it means the more standard deviation it is, okay? That's just what it is. So usually when price crosses the moving average and it goes up to like that 2 standard deviation area. Okay, people will always say, oh, it's oversold, it's at the 2 standard deviation area. Or when it goes below the moving average and it goes closer to this part, then they'll say, oh, it's oversold, it's at 2 standard deviation. So the bigger the gap is, the higher the standard deviation is, and the more oversold or overbought it is. Okay, but again, I do not recommend using this strategy. This is the calculation. Good to know. Probably not gonna help you grow your account, but yes, good to know. Okay, the other strategy that I have found. Okay, sorry, how do you trade Bollinger Band? One was using that oversold and overbought strategy, and the other one, which I have found more useful, is actually looking for the cross of the moving average. Okay, so you would use it the same as like Ichimoku or the moving average. The problem with using this with the Bollinger Band is that it does not work with sideways market. Okay, it does not work with sideways market. So if you see a sideways market, do not use this strategy. Okay, do not use this strategy. Okay, so you can see in this example here, price crossed this area. Okay, it crossed this area, the moving average to the upper side, and it just went up. It just continued to go up. It just went up and went up and then went up. You would have been in a really beautiful sell. So if we're looking at this picture, some of you will be thinking, yeah, but it doesn't work all the time, because clearly in the past it crossed the moving average as well and it didn't go that direction. Okay, so the best way that I have found that we can use this strategy is to combine it with other things. Okay, to combine it with support resistance, with you don't really need to combine it with trend. Okay, support resistance, combine it with Fibonacci levels. So a combination of this with all the other stuff that we always practice in all our webinars anyways is actually a good indication. So usually, which time frame are you on? When I was back testing, I was doing it on the 1 hours and 4 hours. So I guess the Bollinger Band does work well on the 1 hour and 4 hours when you're using this strategy. Does it work best on daily chart 1 hour 4 hour when it crossed the MA? Hey Desiree, I was testing on the 1 hour and 4 hours. I didn't really test on the daily charts, but yeah, as of now, what I can tell you guys that it does work well on the 1 hour and the 4 hours. So use Bollinger Band as a trade confirmation. Yes, use Bollinger Band as a trade confirmation, the same as you would use any indicator. Okay, guys, please take note that whenever we're going through indicators as our webinar topic, because you guys know we have 2 webinars, right? We do one topical for you guys on Tuesdays, which is today, and then we do one live analysis on Wednesdays, which is tomorrow. So live analysis when we look for setups for you guys. So whenever we're doing the Tuesdays one, where sometimes it's actually most of the times it's indicators, right? I think that's indicators for you guys. Please just bear in mind that whatever you learn on Tuesday should never be used on its own. Okay, when we're going through indicators, it should never be used on its own. Indicators does not work on its own. Someone told me this, an ex-analyst who is now a full-time day trader. He told me this before he left. He said that traders who use only indicators to trade are traders who lose money, okay, or lose their account rather. Okay, so don't we can go through these indicators like week by week, but ultimately you need to remember to combine the indicators with more important things like support and resistance, trend line, Fibonacci confluence. I love that. Okay, Fibonacci confluence and price action. Price action is always king. Okay, price action is king. Indicators are just your backup to the price action. It's just a confirmation to the price action. Sorry about what this. +2 standard deviation just means the upper part of the Bollinger Band from the moving average. Okay, and -2 is called, the -2 is just the lower part. It's just terms basically. Parker is saying indicators should be called confirmations. Yes, it should just be called confirmations. Okay, what's next? Another way to use the Bollinger Band is the squeeze. I'm just going to go through this theoretically, but for those who have been attending our webinars every week, you know the squeeze just basically means rectangle. Okay, this is more for the new people. So Bollinger Band squeeze strategy is another strategy used by traders to squeeze. It's basically squeezing price, okay, and then you're waiting for a breakout either to the upside or the downside. Okay, when I saw this and I was reading this, I was thinking to myself, isn't that just the rectangle that we use in most of our webinars? Like, this is basically just support and resistance and using the squeeze. So yes, you can use Bollinger Band as the squeeze, but for those regulars, you already know the squeeze is basically just the rectangle. Okay, rectangle is basically when price is trapped between support and resistance, and then you see a break, you wait for a retest, and then you get in for that buy. Okay, but in terms of Bollinger Band, you wouldn't be able to use a retest. As seen in this example, price didn't even come to retest. And where are you even retesting, right? Because you wouldn't know where it's retesting. Where is the support even for Bollinger Band, right? So usually Bollinger, people who use this technique strategy on the Bollinger Band, they get in for the buy immediately at the break of that squeeze. Okay, that break of that squeeze, meaning you can see like kind of like a narrow path with the Bollinger Band, and you can suddenly see it expanding. That means the squeeze has stopped, and that is the new direction of where price is going, the new breakout of where price is going. So can moving, and then you see this part. I back tested this as well. It works really well. One thing I noticed that it doesn't do a retest, like how when we do the rectangle, usually my confirmation of getting into the rectangle breakout is the retest at the rectangle support. Okay, but in this case, I noticed that it didn't retest even when I was back testing. So usually traders get in for the buy here. Okay, they usually get in for the buy. So this is another way of using the Bollinger Band. I'm running out of slides and it's going to the Donchian channel. There's another strategy I want to highlight with the Bollinger Band. So let me just go back to this and get rid of everything so I can draw it for you guys again. The other way, way to use the Bollinger Band is also, you can see that we were talking earlier, we are following that trend, right? So there's a break of that moving average, you get in here for that sell, and then price is already on its way down. Okay, price is already on its way down. So the other way to use the Bollinger Band is to use it as a re-entry of where you think the trend bias is. Okay, so when it broke this way, you already have a bias that it's downtrend, right? So, but I mean, when you finally caught it, it was already this candlestick, for example. It's already this candlestick. So you're like, hi, hey, I missed that trade. This is such a good sell trade, but I missed it. Okay, so when you're using the Bollinger Band, one thing you can use or consider, and I actually just used this for my trade and it actually worked, okay, is that when it breaks, you use the moving average as a support and resistance, and you get in for your entry. So when price comes back to that moving average, that middle band, right, that middle band in the center of the Bollinger Band, that is your second chance or possible second chance. Hopefully it doesn't break, right? If it breaks, then that's not your second chance anymore. Okay, that is your second chance of re-entry for that sell. Okay, so these are the few ways you can use the Bollinger Band. One is the oversold and overbought. I'm just mentioning it, but I don't then play until 127 extension. I mean, it depends on market structure, right? For this example, yeah, I mean, for those example, you would be able to play to 127 extension on the minimal. Or actually on the minimal, you can play it back to that recent swing low, which is the 100%. Okay, 127 extension is just like an extension. Minimally, if I'm being very conservative, I usually just play it back to the 100% or the swing low. Okay, so these are the few ways to use Bollinger Band. Although we went through it, I don't recommend it. Okay, I was just going through the principles of how people use it, but I don't recommend using the overbought and oversold because a lot of times it's fake. That I mean, this example, it worked perfectly, but a lot of times it doesn't work perfectly. So please don't use the overbought and oversold strategy unless you combine it with other strategy. Okay, another strategy that people use with the Bollinger Band is to combine it with the RSI. We can go through that when we go to the live charts because I don't have a slide for that. But when we went to live charts, we can see how you can combine the Bollinger Band and RSI in the same way. So when they're combining RSI and Bollinger Band together, for the regulars who already went through our divergence webinar last week, okay, for those who did the divergence webinar last week, how you combine Bollinger Band and RSI together is basically by using divergence. Okay, it's just using divergence. So that's that with Bollinger Band. We can move on with the other indicator, the Donchian channel. Okay, so what is a Donchian channel? Donchian channel are three lines generated by the moving average calculation that comprises an indicator formed by the upper and lower band around a midrange and median band. The upper band marks the highest price of the security over n periods, while the lower band marks the lowest price of a security. I'll come back to you, Judita. Price of a security over n periods. So the area between the upper and lower band represents the Donchian channel. The Richard Donchian was the one who developed this in the 20th century to help him identify trends. Okay, so this is what the Donchian channels look like. Sorry, I was on the wrong side just now. This is what the Donchian channel look like. So what do Donchian channels tell you? Donchian channel identify comparative relationship between the current price and trading ranges over predetermined periods. I'll get to that. I'm just going to read to you guys the theoretical part, and then we will get to the simple part. I'll explain to you as simply as I can in a bit. Okay. Three values build a visual map of price over time, similarly to the Bollinger Band, indicating the extent of bullishness and bearishness for the chosen period. And the top line identifies the extent of bullish energy, highlighting the highest price achieved for a period through bull-bear conflict. The center line identifies the median and mean reversion price for the period, highlighting the middle ground achieved for the period through bull-bear conflict. So the bottom line identifies the extent of the bearish energy, highlighting the lowest price achieved for the period through the bull-bear conflict. So basically, you can see how the Bollinger Band is a little bit different. Sorry, the Donchian channel is a little bit different from the Bollinger Band. Do you guys notice the Bollinger Band was a little bit more like wavy? It was kind of like wavy, right? Whereas the Donchian channel looks a little bit more squarish, like you can see a lot of straight lines here. Okay, so the Donchian channel works in this way. Okay, you can see that there's a swing high here. There's a swing high here. So the settings that we use for the Donchian channel, which I back tested and it works as well, is 20. Okay, 20 is the settings. It's just the default settings in TradingView. Oh, what happened? Okay, it's just a default settings in TradingView. So you can see that there was a swing high here, and then you can see like this Donchian channel, this channel just going straight. Okay, so how looks more like support and resistance guide. Yes, thank you, Jasper. Oh my gosh, you spotted it. You spotted it right away. Yes. So Donchian channel is basically, in the words of Jasper, is basically the support and resistance, right? I don't know why they have to explain it so hard, but yes, it's basically just support and resistance. You can see the swing high, and you can see how it just goes straight for 20 days. It goes for 20 days, or at least 20 candlesticks. If you're on the 1 hour, it doesn't mean that it's 20 days. It just means 20 hours. Okay, so for the next 20 candlesticks, it just goes straight until the 21st candlestick, and let's say price doesn't start going up from there, right? It doesn't make a new high, then you will see the Donchian channel starting to fall. It starts to fall until it can find its next swing high. Okay, so Yes, in the words of Jasper, it's basically just support and resistance. Okay, it's just support and resistance. We're going to go through a lot of indicators in our webinars, but I have to tell you guys that a lot of it may come off a little funny. To me, the Donchian channel is a little funny because I'm just looking at it. I mean, even Jasper's looking at it and being like, oh, why can't we just use the support and resistance then? It's basically just support and resistance, right? Yep, it is basically support and resistance. And in a way, it kind of looks like it's kind of similar to the Bollinger Band, where the upper band is also 20 days information, lower band is also 20, not days. Please, can you come get, it's not days, sorry. I keep saying days, but it's actually 20 candlesticks. Okay, and this is kind of like the moving average. So later when we go to the live charts and we combine both the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel, you'll see how similar they look. The only difference is the Bollinger Band is kind of like wavy looking, whereas the Donchian channel is like straight because it's just highlighting the last support and it's highlighting the last swing high and the last swing low for the last 20 candlesticks. Okay, so this is why, that's to explain why it looks that way. Okay, so how do we use the Donchian channel to trade? I've backtested, I went through a few strategies, and I realized the one way you can trade is also quite similar to the Bollinger Band. It's the same by using that break. Okay, that break. I mean, it is quite a similar. Indicator. Okay, so it's not surprising that there's a lot of similarities. Okay, that's also why we combine both the indicators together. Okay, because it is similar. It's quite similar. It's kind of like RSI and stochastics in a way, and right? Okay, so we've got this. You can see price breaking this. It went up. It went to that upper band, so there's a little bit of resistance. Oh, again, I may not have mentioned earlier on, the upper band and the lower band for both Donchian channel and Bollinger Band works as support and resistance as well. It's some form. See you tomorrow. My connection is terrible. Okay, bye Diane. Thanks for attending. It is just a form of support and resistance as well. It's kind of like the Ichimoku, where the cloud works as a support and resistance. Okay, so you can see a break, price kind of went up. It reached the resistance area, came back down, and then it reaches the middle band. So all three, upper band, middle band, and lower band, works as some form of support and resistance. Okay, so you can see price coming to that middle band and kind of like rejecting it and coming back up, and it just goes up. So that is one way to use a Donchian channel. The other way to use a Donchian channel, which I find interesting, I backtested it. It works. Personally, I wouldn't use it, but I will just share with you guys. Okay. So you can see with the Donchian channel, the swing high was here, right? You can see like this was a swing high, and now it's moving in that straight line. Okay, so whenever there's an immediate swing high, immediately when there's a new swing high here, or a new forming arch or upwards, some sellers will get in here for a buy. Okay, some sellers will immediately get in for a buy here. So let me find another example. Another example would be here. There was a swing low here, and then you can see the Donchian channel start forming like this downward arch, like this downward flow, and some sellers would enter here. Some traders would enter here for a sell. Okay, they enter here for a sell, they enter here for a buy. Let me find another example. They enter here for a buy. Okay, I mean, if you think about it, it's basically just break off the swing high. It's basically just a swing high, and then there was a break of the swing high, but when they're using the Donchian channel, they immediately get in for that swing high. Again, for those who always attend my webinar, you know that I like to wait for the retest. I like to wait for a break and then the retest, but I realized with the Donchian channel and the Bollinger Band, there's not much retesting going on. It's just, you just enter straight with the buy. Okay, which in this example worked nicely, but maybe because I have not used it before, I only back tested it. When I back tested back tested it. This strategy works great. It works fine. It works perfectly fine. But I personally have not used it in my own trade. So in theory, it does work great. Does it work when you're really trading? You guys let me know. Okay, so the next is to combine both of them. You don't really combine both of them, but when we combine both of them, you can kind of see where a better support and better resistance is. So when you're looking at not all forex pair follow in the okay, wait, sorry, let me just read some of your questions. But if the top of the channel is the resistance, then would you buy when it's towards the top? Would you buy when it's towards the top? Exactly, that's what I find is strange about this indicator and how some traders use it. Because when it's making a new high and it's at the resistance of that band, people are entering for a buy. Okay, although I have backtested it and it does work. I just find it strange, because if you're using any other indicator, if you're using support or resistance, whenever it reaches the resistance, you sell, right? Whenever it reaches the support, you buy. Okay, so it's totally a different concept of using other ways of trading. Okay, maybe that's why I find it strange, because I've been using this way for the longest time, and then I find something else that, oh, but there's no right or wrong. It still works. It still works. It's just a different way of trading, I guess, or a different kind of indicator. Okay, but I have back tested it and it does work. It really does work. Okay, I'll give you an example. I guess when price came here, like normally if I'm not someone who uses the Bollinger Band or the Donchian channel often, if price came here, I immediately would prepare myself. For a buy, because in my mind it's like, oh, okay, price is at the support, right? It's at the support. But traders who use the Donchian channel and the Bollinger Band, they're, instead of getting ready for a buy here, they're getting ready for a sell. They're getting ready for a sell because instead of looking for a reversal, I guess they're using, I suppose they're using the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel to look for breakout for a sell. Okay, so they're waiting for that break, and it also means that they don't get in at this candle. Okay, it also means that they get in at the next candle where the break already happened. Okay, I personally do not know any traders who use the Donchian channel and the Bollinger Band. Okay, but yes, I have backtested it and it does work. It does work. So yes, it's just a different strategy, I guess. Not all pairs follow indicators as well. So you could use that to find false breakout. Yes, you could probably use it to find. You can use it to find false breakout. It's the same with Bollinger Band and Donchian channel, so you have to look back to see if it's working. Yes, anytime you're testing an indicator, anytime you're using an indicator, you must backtest. Okay, you must backtest. I will show you guys why when we move on to the live charts. Okay, you must backtest. Okay, so this is both the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel. When combining it, you can find a little bit more accurate in terms of the support and resistance, because if you're looking at the Donchian channel, the resistance is here, right? The resistance is here, but when you're looking at the Bollinger Band, the resistance is here. So combining it will kind of help you refine. Yes, I backtested both at the same time, and I find that it gives you a better support and resistance. Okay, so you can see that with the Donchian channel, this is where the resistance is. Why it's there? Because the Donchian channel uses wicks. Okay, it uses wicks to find support and resistance. Can you see that it uses wicks? Whereas Bollinger Band does not. Okay, so Donchian channel in a way is a bit more structured. It's more structured. Okay, but Bollinger Band isn't. So if you're using both together, you kind of can find a more refined support and resistance. Okay, but the difference between the Donchian channel and the Bollinger Band is that the Donchian channel plots higher high and lower low, again, like I was saying, because of the wicks, and this results, whereas the Bollinger Band plots a simple moving average. Okay, it uses a simple moving average to plot its lower band and higher band. So this results in a more balanced calculation that reduces the impact of the high and the low. Okay, so that's how we would combine both of it together. This is what I've also gathered, when to choose the Bollinger Band over the Donchian channel. So each indicator has its own strength, okay? You should choose the Bollinger Band over the Donchian channel in 3 situations. The first one is the signal in early trade entry and exit, okay? Because I would say because the Bollinger Band uses more of support and resistance. Sorry, not support resistance, moving average as a reference, okay? When trading assets with high volatility, it's better to use the Bollinger Band, okay? And when there are higher trading opportunity, okay? So let's move on to the live charts. If you guys have any question, do ask me at any point of time. Don't worry, we can go a little bit over time today. Can you guys see my charts? Everyone can see my charts? How do I join the live section? Okay, this yes. There's so many yeses. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone, because usually I will go like, thanks Simon, thanks Donald, and I think that's time consuming. Okay, thanks everyone for responding. How do I join the live session tomorrow? You can go to YouTube, just type IC Markets, and you will see a live session link, or like it just says live session. Okay, just click on it. It's basically on YouTube. Just look for IC Markets YouTube on YouTube, and then you'll be able to join us tomorrow. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Okay, we're on the live charts. I want to find you guys set up using my strategy. Okay, but because of the purpose, time of webinar, 5:30 p.m. Singapore time. So same time as today. Same time as today. What time you start live session? Yes. Again, same time as today, 5:30 p.m. Singapore time. I don't know what time is that to you in your region or the city you're in, but you can just type in Google 5:30 p.m. Singapore time to whatever city you're in. To, like, if you're in Sydney, Sydney time. If you're in Edmonton, Edmonton time. If you're in London, London time. Okay, you guys know how it works. I'm sure you guys will figure it out. 5:30 p.m. Singapore time. Okay. Yes, that's UK 10:30. Go to worldwide time, or 11:30 CEST. Yes, I used to be with the airlines. I'm still really bad with these timings. Okay, so again, I really want to find you guys a setup based on my own strategy, but for the purpose of our webinar today, we will try to look for a setup using Bollinger Band and Donchian channels. Okay, using Bollinger Band, Donchian channel. So any requests, guys? Any requests? I'm on Ethereum because I'm in a short for Ethereum. Look at Ethereum. Let's AUDCHF. Thank you, Diana, for your request. Oh, so many requests coming in. Okay, I only got 10 more minutes, so I'll just quickly use this. Okay, although our webinar is Donchian channel and Bollinger Band, we're still gonna use our basic stuff, guys. This is always the priority. Price action is always the priority. So yes, we are still going to use support and resistance. We are still going to use trend lines. We are still going to use whatever it is we usually use anyways. Okay, so daily chart, let's look for trend. Don't really see a trend. There was an uptrend here, and then now market is moving sideways. AUDCHF, why is it moving? Okay, don't know why it's moving sideways, but I love sideways market as well, sometimes because now you're looking for a break. Okay, so let's highlight the bottom and the top. Support and resistance is moving sideways. That means it's moving in a rectangle. It also means that if we're using the Bollinger Band, there's going to be a squeeze, right? Yeah, doesn't really look like a squeeze. Doesn't really look like a squeeze. Okay, support and resistance. That's the first thing. I couldn't find a trend because market is moving sideways. So I don't have a bias whether it's uptrend or downtrend. If anything, it's uptrend and then the uptrend stopped. So there's no obvious trend right now. It's fine. It's totally fine. That's totally fine. Okay, second thing we're gonna do Fibonacci levels. You guys already know how this works. Fibonacci levels. Swing high, combine it. It's probably the 50%. Indicators are the last thing you combine. Okay, you use price action. Okay, I shouldn't say you. I should say how I use it. I want to say this is how you do it, but again, there is no right or wrong. Okay, my way is profitable, but it doesn't mean other ways are not profitable. Okay. So this is how I use it. I first do all the price action, support, resistance, blah, blah, blah. And then the last thing I do, sorry, second last thing I do is combine the indicators. The second last thing I do is combine the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel. And the last thing I do is look out for candlestick patterns. Okay, that's my confirmation, double confirmation, triple confirmation before I even get into a trade. Makes my trade very probable. A lot of work, but at least my trade is probable. At this point of time, I only see the 50% lining up here. Is it gonna come here, reverse? I don't really know. This chart isn't looking good. Okay, we might need to look for another chart. I'm sorry. I was charting for so long. We should have just gone straight to a different chart. This chart isn't gonna say much to us. The only thing you want to do with rectangles, right? Rectangles, is to wait for the break, either on the upside or the downside. This is how I do it at least. Wait for the retest, get in on the retest for that sell, get in on the retest for that buy. Okay, I'm gonna go through to the other requests so that hopefully we can find something. Nasdaq, so many requests on Nasdaq. Nasdaq is US 100. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hopefully we can find something, because if we cannot even find anything on the charts, I wouldn't be able to combine the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel to begin with. Will be recording available so they can watch the. Hey AS Manzoor, you can email IC Markets and they will help you with that. Okay, they will help you with that. So when I was back testing, let's just put out the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel, because it is the purpose of our webinar today. Okay, for the purpose of our webinar today, because this is our topic, let's just focus on these two. Okay, because if we were gonna combine it with our usual stuff, we probably might not be able to find anything by today. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of back testing together. I think for today, let's not try to look for a trade. Okay, let's not try to look for a setup. That's for tomorrow. Okay, join the webinar tomorrow to look for a setup. Today, let's just do a little bit of back testing. So based on what we learned earlier on, this would have been a good sell. Okay, this would have been an entry for a sell because it broke that. Can you show gold? Yep, just give me a sec. It broke that middle band, and then you would have entered for a sell. Okay, so when I was back testing, I realized a good example is you can enter here for sell. Okay, for example. Okay, you can enter here for sell, and then your stop loss will be here. You get out here. Your exit is here. When it crosses back to the other side, that is your exit. Okay, so there's one way to use the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel. Okay, another thing that I noticed is that it's good to first identify your trend. Okay, you need to first identify your overall trend. So let's say I remove all of this. We need to identify where we think price is going. I only see a downtrend. I don't know if you guys see anything else. At this current point of time, I only see a downtrend. So just by getting in your trend, this is important. Why? Because when you're using both the Donchian channel and the Bollinger Band, you only want to get into this kind of trade where it breaks the middle band for the sell. Okay, don't get in for the buy. Okay, don't get in for the buy. You can see that when it was a buy, you can see that when you use this to get in for a buy, because it's going against trend, the buy movement was very short. It was so short, and then it kind of came back down. So if you're using it for the buy, you would have not even made any, okay, or maybe you would have made a little bit of pips, okay, a little bit of it, but the best is to get in following the trend. Can you get gold? Yes, let's, oh, sorry, let me just do this first because there were so many requests on this. In terms of using the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel for this current pair right now, USD US 100 on the Nasdaq, if anything, the only trade I would consider would be here, right? I would consider here this trade here, or yeah, I would only consider that, but it looks like it's already on the way, so we can try to look at it from a different time frame. Yep, the other entry was here on the weekly, on the monthly. Okay, on the monthly it just broke, but on the monthly, although it just broke to the downside, we need to take note that the overall trend for the monthly is up. Okay, the overall trend for the monthly is up. So even though it broke the middle band on the monthly time frame for both the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel, I wouldn't get in for this sell. I wouldn't get in for this sell because it's going against trend. But what you can do with this information is just to take note that yes, Bollinger Band and both the Donchian channel is acknowledging that price is on a downtrend. Okay, so you can use it as a confirmation. You can use it as a general bias of your trend, but do not use it as an entry. Okay, don't use it as an entry because when I was backtesting it, going against trend is not a good way to use it as an entry. Yes, do not use it as an entry. The best entry to get in is if here would have been the best entry. This would have been the best entry because price came, bounce, then you can get in for that buy, and it's also following trend. Okay, in this case, it's not going against trend. We're only going to use it as a reference. Okay, so that's on the monthly. The weekly, we're just going to use it as a reference as well in this point of time because it's too, that sell already happened. Okay, that sell already happened. I do think it is a new downtrend. So if by chance price comes back and tests this middle band, that could be your second chance at getting in at that sell. Okay, looking at how red these candles look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish candles. Market is very bearish. I mean, obviously we are in recession. We are in recession, or recession is starting soon, right? Price is just gonna go down from here. If it does retest this middle band, you can consider getting in for the sell. Okay. Sorry, that looks horrible. Yes. So if we're looking at back testing, we can see that price came down, it broke here, so it is signifying a new downtrend, a downtrend. So some traders would get in here for the sell, get in here for the sell, get in here for the sell. For those who didn't get in for the sell, they saw this, they would have gotten in here. They would have gotten in here instead. Okay, gotten in here at the retest of the middle band, and then they continue playing that sell. Okay, at this point of time, at where current price is, the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel for the US 100 is not useful. Okay, there's nothing it can do for us other than say that okay, it's at the lower band, which is like the resistant area, sorry, the support area. But we already know from the past that only sometimes it comes and like bounce at that support. Sometimes it bounces, but other times it just keeps going lower and lower and lower. So this may not be a good reference as well. So for the US 100, I would say Bollinger Band, Donchian channel ain't saying much. Okay, it's not saying much. Let me see what other time frames are saying. Let's see. Okay, so that's the thing about backtesting. You don't see it working on certain time frame. Just keep experimenting and observing until you find a time frame that works well. Oh, this is a very good one. So it broke here, came down, tested the resist support a bit, bounced a little, not the best. It continued to move down, and then when it came here to that middle band, you would have been able to enter for the sell again. Okay, so it does work. Personally, I just don't feel comfortable just using this indicator to get into trade on its own, but it does work. Not all the time, clearly not all the time, but there are instances of it working. This is the problem. I don't feel confident with this trade, with this indicator, at least not on the Nasdaq. You will eventually be able to find 10 o'clock with fib. Yes, you can combine it with the fib. Okay, so the thing about back testing is that the good thing about back testing, although it is time consuming, that's why you guys have us, because we are the ones who do all the back testing and spend all the time back testing. Okay, the thing about back testing, you will finally eventually find out, or at least notice, what indicators work well on which instrument and which time frame. Okay, so for example, because I've back tested it so many times, I noticed that playing the pullback on EUR USD, playing the continuation on EUR USD works very well. Okay, but that same strategy doesn't work on gold. Okay, gold is a whole different characteristic. It has a whole different characteristic, and every time frame has a different characteristic. Okay, so when I was testing the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel, I was testing it on just random forex pairs, and I found that it did work on the 1 hour and the 4 hours. Okay, so we are on the 1 hour now. We can see that it did work. And then, I mean, if you're only using the Donchian channel and the Bollinger Band to get into your trade, you would have used this for your entry, play that trade down, and then this would have been an exit. Okay, use this as an entry, play it down, this would have been your exit. Use this as an entry, play it up, this would have been your exit. So you use it as an entry when it crosses, it breaks. What was your time frame for entry? I was looking at the 1 hour and the 4 hours. It breaks that middle band, you can consider an entry, and then you get out here when it crosses the middle band again to the other direction. Okay, you can see here it broke the middle band. You would have sell. When it crossed the middle band again, that is your exit. That is, you close your trade. Okay, so actually it works really well on gold, surprisingly. We actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we can establish that Bollinger Band and Donchian channel works quite effectively on the 1 hour on gold. So usually when I backtest much more. Okay, you can see that I broke the middle band, enter for a buy, you exit here for a sell. And then when you exit here for that buy, you can now enter for that sell. Okay. So Bollinger Band and Donchian channel works really well with trending markets. Yeah, it works really well on trending markets. So that break here, enter for the sell, you get out here for the exit. So that is exactly how I do back testing. Okay, I do back testing, and then I just go and go until I'm satisfied, and then I finally accept, okay, yes, Donchian channel and Bollinger Band does work well on gold. Okay, so usually I go really far back to like double confirm. This is a very good example here as well. Broke the middle band, drop. This is a very nice trade. Then you get out here when it crosses the middle band as well. What robot system would you recommend based on my trading style? Okay, my trading style is a combination of a lot of things. It's a combination of trend line, support resistance, Fibonacci confluence, and indicators. So in terms of using like AI or like algorithmic trading, I think you can program something to do that. Okay, so it's just a lot. After back testing, after this short back testing, we can establish that Bollinger Band and Donchian channel works fairly well on gold on the 1 hour. So next time you guys are trading gold on the 1 hour, you can consider using the Bollinger Band and Donchian channel. Okay, remember I was saying earlier on why you do combinations of things when you're looking for traits and indicators, because let's go into indicators, technicals. Do you see the amount of indicators that are available? The amount of indicators that are available, and people are still creating indicators, right? People are on a daily basis, not maybe on a yearly basis, there are more people creating more indicators. There's so many indicators out there. If you go and backtest one, like every indicator, okay, let's say I pull out 10 indicators right now, I can assure you 10 indicators, 5 indicators will say that market is going up, and 5 indicators are telling you that market is going down. Okay, so what you need to do, why backtesting is important, is because if you pull out 10 indicators, you need to know which of the 10 is effective in that current chart and the current time frame you are looking at. Okay, just because, like, I don't know, I don't even know some of these indicators because there's too many. It's really impossible for me to backtest all of this. It will take years. Okay, let's say Ichimoku. Okay, no, Ichimoku is so common, I keep saying that. Let's say money flow index. Okay, money flow index may work very well on, sorry, I didn't even click on it. Okay, money flow index. Okay, may work very well on gold, right? But it may not work on EUR/USD. That's why indicators, when you use it, please backtest it. Okay, please backtest it. Even for my favorite indicators, okay, like moving average, Ichimoku, RSI, stochastic, these are my favorite indicators that I use on a daily basis. I use it on a daily basis. I will not use it until I have done some backtesting to confirm that it's even effective on the current charts that I'm looking at. Okay, it'll be 10 years studying. Yes. Hey Adrian, so my strategy would take some time to explain. That's why we have the Wednesday webinars. Do join our Wednesday webinars, which is tomorrow, and we can look for some charts. We can look for some setups. Hopefully we find profitable ones again, like last week. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Please join our webinar tomorrow, and when you do join, please like and share, okay? Because then I see markets will be more than willing to let us do more of the webinars. I will see you guys tomorrow. Do not forget to do a combination of RSI, which you mentioned. Okay, yes. Okay, thank you guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I hope you learned something with the Bollinger Band and the Donchian channel. Okay, if you didn't learn anything from this webinar, the one thing that I hope you take away from this webinar is that indicators need to be back tested. Okay, that's the only thing I hope you guys learn from this webinar. If you don't know how a particular indicator works, honestly, you can just pull it out and eventually you'll see a pattern. You will see a pattern, and if you see that pattern repeating itself over and over and again, that's probably how the indicator works. Okay, if not, there's so much information online. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for attending. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.